This is probably one of the weirdest bands that I'll ever come to talk about in this video series. Black Flag's vocalist Henry Rollins loved them. The SpongeBob SquarePants universe was inspired by one of their albums, and they're also the only band that I've heard of that features a demon god as their logo. Let's take a closer look at the craziness that Ween has to offer. Ween is an alternative rock band that was founded in New Hope, Pennsylvania in 1984 by childhood friends Aaron Freeman and Mickey Melchiondo. After meeting in a middle school typing class, the two immediately started creating music together. Now, although I previously defined the band as an alternative rock band, their discography varies a lot in genre from one album to another. I mean, even from one song to another. They play everything from funk, soul, gospel, and prog to tropical, heavy metal, and punk rock. You never really know what to expect when you're sitting down and listening to these guys. From 1984 to 1989, the band spent much time recording material to cassettes and then self-releasing them to friends and local music lovers of New Hope. But it wasn't until 1988 that they started playing gigs regularly at their local New Hope pub, John and Peter's, and the nightclub City Gardens in Trenton, New Jersey. Here, they warmed up for bands like They Might Be Giants, G-War, Butthole Surfers, and Henry Rollins. It was also here that they got a warm commentary from Rollins himself.
Out of nowhere, out of a total musical vacuum, comes one ray of light. And it's fucking Ween.
In 1990, the band released their debut album, God, Ween, Satan, The Oneness. It featured 26 tracks and was sort of a best-of collection of all the tracks that they had recorded during their previous years. A year later, they released The Pod. This album solidified their style of using pitch-shifting guitars and vocals and drug-infused humor in their lyricism. They also sounded quite lo-fi since the whole album was recorded on a 4-track cassette recorder. 1992 marked the year when Ween signed to the major label company Elektra. They released their third full-length album, Pure Guava, which featured Push the Little Daisies, a song that gained them a lot of media attention and high chart rankings.
Push the little daisies and make them come up. Push the little daisies and make them come up.
Chocolate and Cheese was released in 1994 and saw the band switching from a lo-fi sound to a hi-fi sound. They also started experimenting with 70s pop, rock, and soul elements, as showcased in the song Freedom of 76. During this period, they did a lot of different things. They appeared on Conan O'Brien, they did a collaboration with the Japanese noise rock band The Boredoms, and took a 180 turn in terms of sound when they created their next album, 12 Golden Country Greats. As you can tell by the title, the album is a country record, and is today recognized as the only Ween record that's inspired by one genre all the way through.
Mr. Richard Smoker, you're a poopy poker. Chardonnay and cocaine in the spot. Cigarettes and coffee breath. Little boys on crystal meth. Tonight we'll tango in the street.
As you can tell by these lyrics, Ween is not only a band that defies genres, they also love to write lyrics with a sense of humor. Now, by this point in the mid-90s, Ween had already started to build a solid reputation, and they had gained a cult following. These guys even warmed up for the Foo Fighters during some of their shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ween! I give my left leg to write a song as pretty as Freedom of 76.
Then they released their sixth studio album, The Mollusk, in 1997. Freeman would describe the album as our dark acid rock record. Many fans see this one as one of their most colorful albums, featuring sea shanties, Broadway show tunes,
On my ribbons tied is my hair in place. Have I got...
and also the utter weirdness that is typical of Ween.
I'm waving my dick in the wind. I'm waving my dick in the wind.
Many of the songs from the album follow the theme of sea creatures, a theme that made such a huge impact on director and animator Steven Hillenburg that he decided to make an animated kids series about it. He even contacted the band personally to tell them how much they inspired him. The band made a song called Loop the Loop specifically dedicated for the series.
Wanna learn how to tie your shoe? It's a very easy thing to do.
Their song Ocean Man was featured in the first SpongeBob movie from 2005.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land.
And from what I've heard, there's a lot of references to Ween lyrics in the early SpongeBob episodes.
Mind your wandering eye, you little mollusk.
The mollusk lingers with its wandering eye.
Now, White Pepper is Ween's 7th full-length album. It featured a more pop-influenced sound and is said to have been inspired by Paul McCartney and John Lennon. It still has a lot of experimental tendencies and doesn't seem to settle for any specific sound. But that shouldn't surprise you by now. I think the only thing that glues their sound together and makes them somewhat cohesive on this album and in general is their consistent randomness and their sense of humor.
Bananas and blow. Bananas and blow. Bananas and blow.
Their following album, Quebec, was released in 2003 and gives off a more negative tone compared to much of their previous work. According to Freeman, many of the songs were written as he was going through a divorce. Quote, "I wrote most of these songs right before the end of the relationship. A lot of these songs are about that. Even if it's not direct, you can feel the beginning of the end of the breakup in these songs." In February of 2006, Ween rented an old farmhouse and converted it into a working studio. This is where the Friends EP and their last full-length album, La Cucaracha, came to life in 2007. By the end of these recordings, both Freeman and Melchiondo felt as if Ween was done once and for all. Now, Ween was not only a band that made great sounding music and comedic lyrics, they also came up with interesting themes and mythologies. First of all, they claim to be sprouted from the demon god Boognish, which is depicted in the band's logo. You can find references to this demon in several of their songs.
By the word of the booknish, I said, Lordy, Lordy, Lord, I'm coming home.
To conclude, I want to say that Ween is a band that really does it all. They inspired one of the best children's series of all time, made some incredibly unpredictable yet catchy music, and made Henry Rollins a proud fan. If I was to recommend some of their albums, I would say that you should check out White Pepper and The Mollusk. These are my favorite albums by them, and yeah, I really hope you enjoy them just as much as I did. Hey guys, if you want to create a YouTube channel featuring awesome video essays like on my channel, and if you also want to avoid the hard work and the mistakes that a lot of people make when doing this, then make sure you click the link in the description below and we can schedule a coaching call so that I can teach you how to do it in a very simple and effective way. I just want to warn you that this is for people who actually want to take action and create an awesome YouTube channel and an awesome online community. So if this is not you, then please do not schedule a call. But if it is you, make sure you take the opportunity, okay? I'll see you on the other side.